If you feel like you're not making enough money, if you feel like you're stuck making 60 or 70K per year, or you're stagnant, you're not making more than that, if you feel like you're doing all the right things, but you're still just not being paid what you feel you deserve, then don't worry, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 6 different reasons why I've seen people tend to stay stuck in a specific income level, and what you can actually do to break free of those shackles and start making more money. But first of all, who am I? My name is Eddie. I'm a project manager working in corporate for the last 8+ years. And just in my 3rd year of working as a project manager, I started making 6 figures. And throughout my career, I've actually documented many of the reasons why I've seen people stay stuck and they don't actually progress to higher income levels. That's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys here today in this video. So let's get started with reason number 1. The first reason why you're not being paid more is simply because you don't bring enough value. The amount of skills that you have and the proficiency level in those skills do not justify you being paid more. Let me give you an example. LeBron James, who's a basketball player, one of the best out there, arguably one of the best out there, he's making about $52 million a year. But D'Angelo Russell, another basketball player on the same team, is only making $20 million per year. So it begs the question, why is that? How is one player able to make 2 times more than another player on the same team who's doing the same job? It's simple. It's because LeBron James brings more value. He's more skilled. More people like watching him play. He sells more tickets to the arena. He sells more merchandise. He has more people tuning in on TV when he's playing. And so he's more valuable to the organization. So the organization can justify paying him more because they know that the return on investment is there. So I want to give you another example to really hit this point home about creating value, because a lot of people mistakenly interpret value as being spending effort, that working hard. They think that if they work really hard, if they're sweating at the end of the day, if they're staying late to get things done, that they're more valuable. And they confuse effort with value. But this is not the case at all. Your value is not determined by how hard you work, but rather the results that you're able to bring. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a business owner and you own a gym, and for each new customer that comes to your gym, each person who buys a membership at your gym, you make $500. Say you have a sales rep and you pay the sales rep $2,000 a month, and this sales rep is closing 5 gym memberships per month. So because of the sales rep, you're bringing in typically $2,500 a month, and you pay him $2,000. That's the salary. It's a fixed salary. Now imagine there was another sales rep out there that you find, and he's able to close 20 gym memberships a month. So every month he's bringing in around $10,000. If you do the math, he's selling 20 memberships at $500 a month, and so he's bringing in $10,000 a month in revenue for your company. And if this sales rep were to come to you and say, "Hey, I charge $4,000 a month. That's my rate. That's my salary," would you, as a business owner, agree? Right, knowing that, hey, you have another sales rep that you're only paying $2,000 to, even though he's not that good. This other one here, they're going to be doing the same job, but he's asking for $4,000. Would you do it as a business owner? The answer would be obviously yes, because he's going to be bringing in a lot more value. In this case, you can actually quantify that value. He's bringing in $10,000 a month in memberships, and you're only paying him $4,000. He's still much more. He's still a good return on investment. So you would definitely do that and hire the sales rep, even if he's asking for more. Now, the point here is that the reason you're paying him more is because both of these sales reps, they might have the same skills, right? They both know how to sell. They both know how to build rapport and build relationships. But one of them is better because they're more proficient in those skills. They're able to get better results. And so because of those results, you're actually paying him premium for his services because he's a lot more skilled at the skills that you are needed for that job. So you increase your value then by increasing the number of skills that you have and increasing the proficiency level in those skills. And by increasing the proficiency level in those skills, you're able to demand a lot more money, because of those skills, now that you're so good at those skills, you're going to be able to deliver much better results, right? LeBron James is much more skilled than D'Angelo Russell. He's able to deliver more results, more points, more assists, more passes in the game of basketball. This sales rep, he's more skilled in negotiating and persuasion and closing, and he's able to get more memberships sold, and so they're more valuable to the organization. So again, once to summarize, you become more valuable by increasing your skills and increasing your proficiency level in those skills. So now this leads me to point number 2, which is, you might be thinking, "Hey Eddie, I've got a skill. I'm really good at it. I'm like one of the best, but I'm just not being paid more. Why is that?" And so this leads to the next point, which is, the skills that you have might be low value in the marketplace. You could be the best cleaner in the world, right? You could be, I could come to you and I could say to you, hey, Mary or John, I need you to clean my house. And if I just say that to you, you know exactly what to do. You start sweeping the floor, you start mopping the kitchen, you start cleaning the cabinets, you start steaming my clothes, you go above and beyond, you start cleaning my pots and pans and removing the rust, and you start doing all these things that are kind of under the umbrella term of cleaning my house. And you can be the best out there, but I'm still only going to pay you the maximum market rate for a cleaner, right? So I might pay you $100 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever that market rate is, and I'll pay you the best because you're the best, but still it's going to have a cap at what you can potentially earn. So if you're in this situation, if you have certain skills and you're the best at them, but you're just not getting paid more, you've already hit your cap on what you could be paid for your role, for your skills, then you really only have two options here, right? The first option, the very obvious option, you can simply accept the fact that the skills that you have are, you maxed out how much you can potentially earn. The second option you have is, well, you can start learning new skills that do have higher paying rates in the marketplace. Now, if you're thinking, well, Eddie, I actually have a high paying skill, but I'm still not being paid what I'm worth. Let's say you're an IT manager, you're making 80K in Buffalo, but you have a colleague who's in California and he's also an IT manager, but he's making 120K. So you might be thinking, hey, why am I not getting paid more? So this actually leads me to my next point, which is you might not be getting paid more because of your location. And unfortunately, this is a fact. Based on your city, your state, your standard of living, where you're living, will have a factor or play a role in determining how much you're paid for your specific role. So I would encourage you, if you live in the state, go to the Bureau of Labor Stats and actually look at your state and see the role that you do, the title that you have, what is the pay range for that in the state. And if you already capped out, if you're already at the top, then you have a decision to make here. If you want to continue with that same role and make more money, then you would have to consider actually moving to a different state where they can offer you that salary. The second option you have is, well, you need to change your title. If you want to break free and start making more money in where you are, then you're gonna have to change your title. So this actually leads to point number 4, which is you're not being paid more because of your title. So let me explain that a little bit. Many people don't know this, but most companies use what's called pay band. So in other words, let's say you're an operations manager right now, and your pay band might be 50 to 60K per year, right? As an operations manager, as a title operations manager. Now, even if the company wanted to pay you more, systematically, they may not be able to pay you more. Like technically, they may not be able to pay you more if the cap for that title is 60K in the system. So operations manager in the system, maximum of 60K, they actually cannot pay you more under that same title. And so you need to find a way to change that title to like operations manager. Typically the companies will have like operations manager level 1, level 2, level 3, and each one of them will have a different pay range. And so you need to find a way to change your title from operations manager to operations manager level 1, which might have a pay band of 60 to 70, for example. So you might be thinking, okay, so all I got to do is change my title in the system to be able to get paid more. So how do you actually go about changing your title? If it was easy, everyone would just go ahead and change their title in the system and they could be paid more. So this actually leads me to my next point, which is actually one of the major reasons why people don't get paid more, is simply because, reason number 5, you've never asked. You've never asked for more money. I want to tell you a quick little story here. When I was 22 years old, I was working as a sales rep selling phone plans, and I was one of the best. I had the best sales week over week, month over month. My customers loved me. They left me good reviews. I showed up on time. I stayed late, and I was just a great employee overall. And I remember going on vacation for about 10 days, after having worked there for a year. I was going on vacation, 10 days, I come back, and I find out that one of the other sales rep, who was not as good as me, he did not have the same sales numbers as me, he got promoted to assistant manager. And so I got really pissed off. I'm pacing in the back of the store, and I'm just like frustrated. Like, why didn't I get the promotion? And so our manager comes in. I jump up and ask her, like, hey, what the hell? Why don't you give me the assistant manager position? And so she just looks at me and says, Eddie, you never asked. And so it was then that I realized that, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you ask for. Now, I got really curious and I wanted to know, like, how many people actually ask for a raise or ask for or negotiate their salary when they're getting a job. And I actually found a study done by the Pew Research Institute, which showed that out of 5,000 people that they studied, only 40% of them had asked for a raise or negotiated their salary. That means 60% of you, when you get a job offer, you never negotiate it, you never ask for more, or each year when you're at the job, you never ask for more money, which is a big mistake. And the crazy part about this, according to the study, 66% of people actually got the raise after they asked. So if you think about it, you have more than a 50% chance right now of making more money just by scheduling a call with your manager and asking for more money. Those are great odds. 66%, more than half, you're guaranteed to make some kind of additional increment in your salary right now just by asking. But before you go ahead and ask for more money, you need to decide what is it exactly that you want. Which actually leads me to my next point, that you're not being paid more because you never actually decided what is it that you want. I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine there are two people starting the same job. They're both getting paid $60K a year. The first person's mindset is like, okay, this is what they pay, great, I'll do the job. The second person's mindset is like, okay, great, this is what they're paying right now, but I'm gonna set a goal for myself. I'm gonna set a target for myself to make it 100K in 3 years. And he writes it down, he sets it as a goal, and then he starts taking action. He starts improving his skills, he starts networking, he starts negotiating with his managers every couple of months. So let me ask you a question. 3 years from now, who is more likely to be making 100K, or at least closer to be making 100K? Is it person number one who didn't set a goal to make 100K, who just passively accepted whatever income was given to him, or person number two who actually made it a goal, wrote it down, and started taking action to try to make that happen, and constantly reminding himself of his goal and reaching out to his managers? Who's more likely to be making 100K in 3 years? So I think you and I would both say person number two, the one who actually wrote it down, the one who actually made a plan of action to achieve that goal, will be more likely in actually making 100K. And funny enough, there's actually research done by the Dominican University which shows that you actually have a 42% higher likelihood of achieving your goal just by simply making a decision and physically writing it down or typing it in and setting it as a goal for yourself. This study is very interesting because it shows that just by writing down your goals, you can increase the odds of your success by 42%, which is a lot. You can nearly double your chances of being successful at a thing if you just write it down. So this is actually so important that I would encourage you right now or after this video, go ahead and write down your goals. Specifically, what are your financial goals? What are your goals in your career? What are you trying to achieve? Just by writing them down and being able to see them clearly on paper, defined clearly and consciously in your mind, you're going to be able to have a lot more success with that thing, and it's proven and backed by research. So I want to make it actually even easier for you. In the description below of this video, you'll actually find a free template that you can download right now, print it out, download it for free, and start writing down your goals and organizing yourself for success. So hopefully you find that helpful. And that kind of brings us to the end of the list here of 6 reasons why you might be stuck where you're at, and quickly summarize them for you here. So number one, you might not be making enough money simply because you don't bring enough value. Reason number two, the skills that you have are very low value in the marketplace, and so the solution there is, well, get new skills or change your skills or become more proficient in those skills. Reason number three, you're not being paid more is simply because of your location. Maybe you do have a high paying skill, but you're in a place where the standard of living is quite low, and so they're not able to pay you, or they're not paying you as much. Reason number four, you're not being paid more because of your title. Remember, we talked about pay bands. So within companies, you are systematically just capped at the top of the pay band for your title, and so you need to actually technically change your title in the system to be able to be paid more. And the fifth reason why you're not being paid more is simply because maybe you've never asked, right? We looked at a study that showed more than 60% of people don't ask for an increase or don't negotiate their salary, which is a lot. More than half of you guys are not doing that. And then number six, you're not being paid more simply because you never consciously decided that you want to make more, or how much is it that you specifically want to make. So I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below why you think you're stuck in the income level that you're at, and hopefully this video has been helpful and valuable for you. And if you did like it, I would ask you to actually give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be launching a lot more videos every week, so stay tuned for those. And if nothing else, I'll see you on the next one.